welcome to another episode and another great AMA in the NTM YouTube channel. Welcome everyone. We have today our great members from Taunt BattleWorld. How are you guys? We have Saba, the DJ Sabotage or Saba, and Joey Ingram. How
DJ
are you?
Sabotage.
DJ Saba?
We're
Okay,
doing.
DJ Saba then.
You can call me Saba. You can call me Sabotage. You can call me DJ. Whatever. Thanks for having us, guys. We appreciate it.
We really want to thank you a lot, guys, for joining us to share your project, to share your love, to share how you guys are going. So we would like to thank you very much. We are very honored to have you here, and our members has a blast during your last poker tournament, man. That was great.
Yeah. We're pretty excited to start incorporating a lot more things like community building through poker, or let it be a games night. We're exploring a few different avenues, but especially when we start to have the actual top battle world stories and tournaments, and be able to highlight really the story of really in the journey of the player. I think it's important. So these community building events for us are important, and it just so happens we have a lot of guys that are really intrigued by the poker universe, and we're very
Yeah.
connected in that world too, which is great.
Yeah, it's so big, it's so big. I think everyone likes that. I'm personally not good at it. I like play it, but I always lose. So I say leave some pro playing there. All right, so let's start for the beginning. Hey guys, please stay on mute the time we have this interview, and then we're gonna give you the chance to ask your questions. So everyone put himself on mute.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah. All right. If you don't put yourself on mute, I will put you on mute. There we go. There we go. Uh, are we good now, General? All right. Perfect. So, Saba, can you tell us a bit about you, your career,
Yeah.
a bit of your crypto career world?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's an interesting story about my journey into NFTs, into gaming, into crypto in general. So to kind of start it off from the top, career wise, I was actually part of the Amazon founding esports team. I worked
Right.
for our CEO Jeff LeBoon, and Jeff was the founder of Amazon Esports. So I do come up with a lot of different experience, especially learning a lot from Jeff when it comes to mobile gaming, and understanding a lot of what we did at Amazon. In particular, in the esports industry, what we focused on was bringing mobile games into life, right? So think about mobile productions. Let it be Fortnite. We did the first ever Fortnite third-party event when we were at Amazon, or let it be smaller games like Summer's War. If you guys are familiar with that mobile platform, we were taking these mobile games that people were able to play on their devices, bringing in big esports players, key KOLs, influencers, streamers, creating these large and actual esports tournaments, and then putting on these big purse prize pools. And we are able to stream it with our production company.
Oh, we lost you there.
Be kind of thing. Do I still have you? I think a lot of people are coming in and out, so it's getting a little choppy.
You're
Do you
good
still
now.
hear me okay?
Yes. Continue. We hear you.
So so basically, we were taking these mobile games, putting in these large prize pool, these large purses, and then have key KOLs or influencers or streamers come to events when we were at Amazon, and we were using our sister company. Our production company had the same company that owns the World Series of Poker. So not only were we making these big mobile events and mobile games, big prize pools, bringing in these key influencers, we were able to distribute it, unlike anyone else was doing at the time in 2017, 2018, into channels like CBS Sports. For you
Nice.
guys that are in the States, huge platform. ESPN2 we were going live on. Obviously, being from Amazon, directly live on Twitch home screen, going live on YouTube Gaming, really taking in something that's so simple as mobile gaming but bringing in big characters, bringing in big purses, and then distributing the content, making it sexy, bringing in hosts. And I think what's so unique and so great about that particular platform into going into NFTs and play to earn gaming, the most successful play to earn games aren't going to be necessarily the most complicated, right? A
Yeah.
lot of gaming studios are trying to come in here, make super complex worlds and have all these ideas, but a lot of the times people that own NFTs that want to get in the play to earn realm, I really believe if you can afford a 3, 4, 5, 6 figure NFT, you don't necessarily have 12 to 15 hours to grind the game every day like what we saw back in our old gaming times. So being able to make these games and tournaments short, but making them fun, exciting, putting on these big prize pools indirectly, I think, is a very good notion of what we want to do when we do Taunt BattleWorld, but still make it sexy, make it fun, and bring some bigger names to kind of blow out. But the key is really having that ability to bring more players into the platform. But that's what we were doing at Amazon. That's what Jeff does. Jeff's had 20 plus years looking at Amazon in particular, to everything that he did from starting at Microsoft Xbox, moving into Double Down Gaming, going into starting and launching Amazon Esports. From there, he started eStar Studios, which is the sister company of the World Series of Poker, and they do a lot of content today for games like Zed Run and such. So really, that was the background. Obviously, Jeff is probably the most versed person, taught me a lot about esports and mobile gaming, and that's our CEO and the other co-founder. I left, believe it or not, the esports world in 2017. My friends, my family thought I was absolutely batshit out of my fucking mind, to be honest. But I saw the potential of cryptocurrency in 2016. Started investing myself. Really started getting big into mining and distributing miners, and that was really my real passion at the time. And we moved into left Amazon mining company in 2017, 2016. And at the time, it was just a lot different, right? Now you see so many big brands in NFTs, so many big brands into crypto. You see hedge funds, you see big conferences where people are openly saying on LinkedIn that they're going to these events. They're saying it on their Instagram. It's sexy to be part of crypto, sexy to be part of NFTs in particular. It wasn't the case in 2016, right?
No.
2017. It was a lot of people were just batshit crazy, or they were the smartest guys in the room. So it's changed a lot, but I think what was great back then, I was able to learn directly from a lot of the smartest people I thought that were in the room, right?
That's
And
nice.
then, like, granted, we got lucky. Things went kind of crazy back then, and everything really. We saw our first hyper Super Bowl run, I think, in 2017, which which uh, which taught us a lot during that time. But really, our story, Taunt BattleWorld, and how it kind of comes around and gets started. I still stayed in touch with Jeff. I still did a lot of contracting working for him. I was handling sponsorships. I was handling sales, doing a lot for him on a contract side while still in crypto. And we started re-engaging conversations about crypto. It was probably DeFi summer in 2020. If you remember, things started to really pop off again on the Ethereum side. Conversations started to build. We started to see Telegram chats rebirth from their days back in the golden days of 2017. So
Yeah.
me and Jeff were kind of looking around, and I think what we knew is Ethereum was so far advanced and it made sense, but it was just too expensive for the average user, you know. And I think when we the idea and we heard the pitch of really what was going on in Binance and this idea of Binance Smart Chain being deep, that's when we were able and blessed enough to see Pancake Swap. And Jeff, especially with all his knowledge of DeFi, we always thought the two use cases for crypto were going to be DeFi and play to earn. We thought were the two best actual fundamental use cases of actual crypto. And you'll see a lot of DeFi mechanics when we start to unreveal our real tokenomics and the way our game economy works. And I think it's very important knowing the sense of that's where we want to go and building a real GameFi culture. But we were we were doing well into the BSC network. PancakeSwap was doing well. I being the guy that always likes to see what's new, what's hot, had a couple buddies buzzing me saying, "Hey, we know a lot of your money's now on these DeFi networks. You should come and invest into these NFTs." And at the time, CryptoPunks were on the way up. And I saw it, and I liked the idea of owning a, knowing that the CryptoPunks was original. But then I saw things like the Ether rocks going for $500,000, and I'm like, I can't justify this. This is just too crazy. And Jeff's like, dude, these are all just pictures. Like, this will never make sense. Like, there's no utility, until I stumbled upon Zedrun, to be honest. Okay. I had a couple of these that were getting horses super cheap. It was on the way up. I went into the Zedrun community. I started hopping into other NFT communities after Zedrun made me kind of switch over and give it a chance. And I saw a few things. First off, it was community. That was amazing. I saw this idea of social network with these tokens, very similar to like almost an esports feel, right? Passion behind. If you're a Zedrun player, or if you're a Bored Ape, that's a Bored Ape guy. If he's a Fortnite player, he's a Fortnite guy. He's a Call of Duty guy, called League of Legends guy, right? So like you have your clicks with your boys, clicks with your friends, and I saw it very similar, and I thought that passion generally leads to success. And with Zedrun, we just saw so much utility, right? It was a normal horse, it was a digital horse, but you could use this horse to go enter a race and be able to see, based off of its genes, based off its parents, what it could be good at, and these attributes that are good at. So like that instantly to me, I was like, oh, we have something here. And it wasn't until Jeff looking and watching us write notes down on our digital horses racing that he said, "You guys are out of your fucking mind." He was like, is this what's happening? I'm like, bro, 10,000 people are doing this. And him being so smart when it comes to mobile gaming and mobile streaming, and actually monetizing, and capitalizing streaming events for mobile games coming from Twitch and Amazon, he's like, okay, I have an idea. Because he held some assets that were extremely, and we'll hop into them in a little bit, but he held these patents for an engagement viewing tool, which we'll get into. And I know we've talked about this before, but really that engagement tool is the ability for streamers that are watching an actual stream to engage to the platform, right? And be able to answer questions on the platform. So at that time, he's like, okay, horse racing's dead. There's only so much you could do. It's a short distance race or a long distance race. That's all you could control. You can't bring other IP. I have an idea. We're going to use my patents. This technology is already built. I bought it from 3 or 4 different VCs, including Axiomatic, including Foundry Group. They invested into for example, they invested in Fortnite. They invested in Pokemon Go. I bought this from a company that was going out of business during COVID. We're going to use this technology. We're going to overlay it on a play-to-earn game, but instead of horse racing, we're going to put in fighters, because fighters are sexy. You could control so much more in a fight, different lengths of round, rules of engagement, weapons, wearables, and we could start to incorporate everything that we know from the microtransactions in the gaming world. Because when we really started into esports and gaming was when you started to see Call of Duty start to take off, when you start to see Fortnite start to take off. These free-to-play models, but you have to pay for these microtransactions to get better in the game. So that's really, in the early 2021, we knew that we had something, and Jeff's like, all right, let's start to run with it. So that's when Top BattleWorld started. We started to really build together our real vision, our roadmap. And for the last pretty much year, what we've been doing is handling legal. We've been gathering an unbelievable team. Let it be, we have guys from EA Sports, Amazon, we have guys from Unity. Our CTO just started on Monday, and our CTO comes from Boeing's blockchain division for drones. So the guy's a giga Chad, smartest guy, loves gaming, loves everything to do, sees the vision, and we're so excited to have him. But we really were able to put together such a strong team that saw the vision, and with Jeff's ability to really understand gaming, and knowing that he comes from a world of crypto, I've now have 400 plus NFTs across the board, across a wide rarity of a variety of different things. But we were starting to able to build this concept of the game and then start developing it really early last year, which was great before the real boom of NFTs. And I think we had a vision and an idea of launching our founder pass back early in 2021. But what we wanted to do is do a stealth drop. We wanted to do a stealth drop, go into our beta, organically build a community. Because for a beta, I've been in NFT projects. You don't need 100,000 people, right? You need a
Mm-hmm.
solid group, build a foundation, build a community. And that's what we want to do with our beta. And then when it comes to the summertime, when we have our V2 of the product, able to introduce this concept of viewing to earn, predicting to earn, this concept of engage to earn, as well as introduce our gambling partners in esports technology, who's going to be able to provide live gaming odds, who's going to do things like daily fantasy. So we're going to start to incorporate those in the V2 version, as well as skins, wearables, boosts, all these other different kind of weapons we can introduce into the game. So that's what our concept was in our strategy. And I'm a big component of whenever you force something, especially in the beginning, to people that can't see the vision, you're not going to go get the right ambassadors, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for us, it didn't make sense to spend all this money on marketing 6 months ago, 1 month ago, 3 months ago, because right now we're about a couple weeks alpha for everyone on here, a couple weeks away from our beta. We're really excited to introduce our
Woohoo!
actual we're really excited to introduce our actual characters and our fighters. We have 50 different base characters, all 3D belt, all rendered, all ready for the metaverse, which is an unbelievable look, knowing that most even NFT companies today, some of the blue chips, are still 2D. They still don't even have a 3D rendering. They're still not even ready for the metaverse. And the only reason why we were able to get the dev team to build 50 base characters versus a lot of these blue chips that have one base character 10,000 times was because we were able to get our resources really early in 2021 and didn't rush that deployment. So really, when you look at the scope of what we're doing here at Taunt BattleWorld, we've been in development, we've been in works. We're kind of working under the radar right now because that's the smartest way to do it right now for what we want to do in the beta. But we're prepping for a massive summer, and right now we think we're really going to be putting the tokenomics, the utility for a Genesis Skull Pass, introducing things like 100K paid for prize pool by us as the devs, into finding a platform and creating a hub of a community
Mm-hmm.
and really seeing who are the ambassadors that come out, who are our influencers that come out, who are our streamers that come out, who are our guilds, right, that come
Mm-hmm.
out of this entire complex. Because if you see the vision and you understand where we're going, and we're able to build our core and our foundation like this, not only are we going to be winning, you guys are going to be winning, our streamers are going to be winning, our guilds going to be winning, our core community. Because if it works like that and everyone's on the same vision, you're just so much stronger. So we're very passionate about the way that we're rolling this thing out. We're very confident. We're very thankful for even let it be our community or our team that we've kind of put together in this very short time that we've been live. And we think the next 6 months is going to be an absolute rocket ship. And again, when you hear anyone from our team talks, we're never going to be hyping the next week. We're never going to be hyping the next month. We're not be hyping anything or anything. What we're doing right now is we're saying, hey,
I
we know
love
we're
that.
fundamentally different. We have great partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
We have a dev team. We have great leadership that understands gaming that no one else, I think, in this NFT world really does. And what we're doing right now is we're building a foundation to really disrupt the industry. So if you're on this train, let's get on it. Let's build it. You're only good as your community, but the community's got to be the guys that are doing the pitches when I'm not here, right? Community's
Mm-hmm.
guys got to be streaming. Our influencers are the guys that got to be making YouTube videos, right? Our guilds are going to be the guys that be building their teams, their sponsors. So that's our vision and that's been our model. So like I could talk, but I wanted to shut myself up for a minute. Uh, but I think it
Man,
was a really solid introduction of what we got going on.
that's amazing, man. I love the story how you get on this project and how from your previous experience you bring everything of your previous experience to that project, and I love that. I had some question pop up here. Um, you mentioned 100K payout. Payout in which token?
So what we're doing right now is what we're doing is we're building a 100K prize pool just for our beta version, right? Our beta will be, like I mentioned, releasing out in 2 weeks, and there'll be a series of different tournaments. And in the coming week and a half, without giving away too much information, we're going to be releasing a white paper that will start to unreveal everything as far as the elo systems, the game loops, the ranking systems, right? Things that you want to see from the actual breeds, the different types of breeding, the gaming mechanics, and it'll also, excuse me, it'll also include a lot about what will be really the tournament series, what will be the bracketed system for this 100K prize pool. But this 100K prize pool will be dedicated just to the beta. We are launching an in-game currency, as you're mentioning, and that in-game currency right now, gladly, we have some terrific partners that I am a little bit limited of what I could say, but I can tell you this: coming from an NFT world myself, being in the NFT world myself for almost a year and a half, um, there's not too many NFT or Web3 companies I know that have this many amount of top tier launch pads that are ready to invest, and they are our partners that are be launching our in-game currency. And it comes down to Jeff's real gaming experience, as well as what they believe in this engage to earn technology and how they think it's going to be, and what we think it's going to be, a real onboarding mechanism for daily active users, right? And when you bring daily active users to fight the churn rate for any game is how you win and build a gaming economy. So I can't say too much, but I can tell you that there was a delay naturally because of the market, and everything going on right now with the crypto market. Gladly, it's on the way back up. I don't know how PokerStarter and GamesPad and all these BSC pad guys know this, but they said things will probably be better in April, and it looks like it's on the way there. But right now,
Yeah,
we are on pace to have a post-April kind of in-game currency launch on all those platforms. It's going to be a massive marketing tool. Our in-game currency should be in thousands, if not more than that, wallets, just because of the sphere of just the actual marketing reach of these platforms. And it is something that we are excited about. Um, and I think you'll start to see things like our tokenomics come out. You'll start to see a lot of things like our GameFi kind of ideas come out to life, and you'll see that, hey, we are gaming guys, but we are extremely well versed and we're obsessed with DeFi. And I think knowing that you have an ecosystem where your original contributors, your original people in the community are able to tap into that is very key. So that's kind
that's
of
great, man.
the scope
That's
of
really great.
yep.
All right, so I have one feedback from someone. Man, I have been listening to Taunt BattleWorld AMAs for over a month now on a weekly basis, but every time Saba get me hyped.
we're
Let's fucking go!
we're 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 really I think we're very confident in our strategy. I think we've had some very solid conversations, and for people that know our roadmap, we have some marketing tools that are keeping us very unique. We're going to introduce our IP, but we're going to start to bring on combat fighters. And I know you've kind of understood this, but guy, Chris Cyborg, right? One of the best women fighters ever in UFC. And I think women fighting so much more entertaining these days than male fighting. But she's not only an influencer, but she's actually going to be part of the team. So you'll start to see in-game Chris Cyborg NFTs be used in the platform. We also have the best boxer of all time, Floyd Mayweather, right? We'll be able to use the Money Mayweather branding in the game. He's going to have an actual NFT in the game as a fighter. We've actually finalized our deal with Deontay Wilder, I think one of the most underrated boxers of all time. Um, Obviously, he's coming off a loss, but an absolute talent, and he just boxed one of the best. He's waiting for EA Games to finish their deal, but then he's going to be on the platform. But I think that's what we've sent out to the public. And again, I don't want to rush anything. I've never overpromised it. Even on our socials, you never see us blasting out, hey, we have Cyborg, we have Floyd, we have Deontay Wilder, because that's not where we're at yet. When it's time, you'll start to see a lot of those guys that are not our influencers, but our partners in the game. that will have in-game NFTs start to do advertising themselves, right? And I think when we have our IP established, that's what's going to happen. But we have a vision of bringing in a lot more guys that wouldn't necessarily be your top tier Floyd Mayweather or your Deontay Wilder. You're not, but I'm talking about a lot smaller guys in WWE, smaller guys in MMA. So think of like an Undertaker or like a Hulk Hogan, right? And introducing those guys to the game. But every time you bring these guys to the game, it's a marketing tool. You tap into their communities, and you'll be able to kind of build it. So that's going to be coming as you approach V2. And again, V2, we're looking at the end of summer here, but that's where you're going to start to see things ramp up. You'll start to see our Engage to Earn platform. We haven't even really talked about it much, but you'll start to see like our esports technology partnership come to life. You'll see us on their online casinos. You'll start to see other actual products that are coming from their ecosystem. So that kind of will tell you a little bit about what we're kind of having in our lines. But right now, I think it's about rolling up our sleeves, focusing on development. Right, a lot of guys here are talk. A lot of guys
Mhm.
here are talk. A lot of people in the play to earn realm understand making a profile picture, granted understand making a community, and they understand selling air, right? And all of a sudden you sell a 10,000 unit profile picture, you make 2 to 3 million. You wait 3 4 months, you hit that same community with another 10,000 companion. Then you wait 3 or 4 months, you drop a token, you take more liquidity, and all of a sudden it's a year down the line. You started out as a play to earn game, but now you're a year in looking for a different gaming studio to take control of your game, and you might make a good game, but you have no idea about tokenomics. You
Mhm.
have no idea about gaming economies.
Mhm.
You have no idea about tournament liquidity, right? You have no idea about influencers. You have no idea about how making tournaments work, how to bring KOLs in, right? How to stream an event. I think everyone started to see a sense of it with our development stream. I hope you guys all were able to hop on the YouTube and developer stream to see that type of ESPN quality. That's what imagine that. But now we have a $50,000 tournament up for grabs where hopefully, someone from a third world country is making their way up into the top BattleWorld, wins an entry level tournament, gets an entry into the big Champions League, wins it, and now we could follow that guy through his story and show how top BattleWorld impacted his life. And it gives me literally, as you can see,
Oh
it gives
yeah,
me chills,
I
right?
saw that.
It gives me chills because that type of stuff sells, and I think that's the type of ecosystem that we're really going to create. But it that to run through a beta to build a authentic community, especially with the beta when it comes to security, when it comes to scalability, understanding fire blocks, building things on chain, bringing in wearables on chain, like all this stuff takes time, and you can't really rush it, right? So that's why we don't really necessarily sit here and pump our influencers in our fighters into the ecosystem. We're not trying to get 100, 200,000 people in our Discord yet because it just doesn't make sense, right? It's more along the lines of build people that are our ambassadors and then just let it grow naturally. Um, so
That's great, man.
that's kind of the real scope of it.
So let's get on the game. Uh,
Let's get it.
can you can so if I understand, it will be a game of fighting. Can you give us a bit more specific on the game? How it will
Absolutely.
be working? It will be will the taunt blanc? I don't know why I always say that. Taunt battle world will be open, and we will find a character there, a fighter. How it gonna be?
So basically, what we're doing right now, and really the world that we're creating, is there's going to be 5 major races, and each one of these races. Do I still have you guys? I think I had a drop.
I'm
You guys
here.
hear me?
I'm
Okay.
here. I'm here.
Cool. So we have 5 major races, and each one of these races has its own strengths or its own attributes, really. So those 5 different races, we already started to leak some of the art for each one of these races. So let it be a squid that has an ability to be super smart. The squid has an ability to stun its opponents. It's a very mind controlling race versus something like a scale, which is a little bit more brutal strength, extremely strong armor, has an ability or a larger life health capacity versus other characters. You'll have and then each one of these races has 10 different characters within that race.
Okay.
So you'll have an ability to know as you enter different tournaments. So it could be different rules of engagement in that tournament. It could be different lengths of that tournament. It could be different features within that tournament, but you have a general idea based off of how many people are in the tournament, how long the rounds are. Like I mentioned, the different rules of engagement. You have a general idea of what race you want to put in based off of really the ecosystem of fighters because that are in the tournament, right? And you'll be able to kind of choose and decide in your blood temple alpha. There'll be a blood temple where you're able to see all your fighters, and it'll be an ecosystem where you'll see your boosts, you'll see your weapons. And as you enter these tournaments, you could go into your blood temple and be able to pick, I want to pick my white hair, or I want to pick my squid, or I want to pick my human into this fight because you have a general idea of what's good on these fighters. But you're going to need to fight your fighters to find out its real strengths besides its general race capacity. So
That's
we'll hold.
exciting, man. That's really exciting. Continue, please.
So we'll basically have a component of okay, we understand the fighters based off its races, but it's such a more deeper and complex game because it's a game of discovery, right? You have to fight your fighters, you have to engage in different tournaments and different concepts and different rules of engagement into different things like okay, I know this fighter does well on rest, I know this fighter doesn't, right? I know this fighter does better against this species and this one doesn't. So you'll have to keep understanding those fighters and engage into this actual complex. And then there's going to be so many other layers as we peel the onion. We've already highlighted that we'll have things like boosts or quote unquote runes, which you'll white paper that come out. But as V2 approaches, you'll see things like wearables, right? You'll be able to see things like obviously weapons, right? You'll see different concepts of different I gotta watch what I say, but different NFTs potentially or wearables that you can incorporate into the game that makes another layer into the fighter of what you want to decide in these tournaments. And then we'll have very similar to again, I should probably shut up, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Very similar to what you see in Call of Duty or what you'll see in most mobile games. Well, you'll see different seasons, right? So for each season, as these seasons unreveal, you'll be able to adapt your strategy based off of seasons, and we'll be able to unreveal a lot of things like changes into your tournament, right? Or things of that nature that unreveal different portions of the game. But the beta version that we got going on, we're very prideful on. Hey, this isn't anywhere near going to be what the game is. But even for a beta, which you'll start to see sneak peeks, I'll tell you this right now for everyone on the chat, you'll start to see sneak peeks of just the beta within the next week.
Nice.
So we'll start to see the beta next week. I just mentioned it earlier. We're a couple weeks away from really unrevealing what we got going on in the beta and actually opening it up to our Valhalla chat, opening up the beta to early adopters, and then starting to turn on the engine as we scale the beta. The V2 product, especially with the team that's coming on board, our team's now over. It's hard because naturally you have third-party agencies or third-party devs that work on certain concepts of the game. We obviously have a third-party team in esports technology that's working on the gambling component as well. So not including that, but even just our main team, we're well over 20 right now. To put that in sense, a good portion of those are full-time employees. The team's been growing. We're tremendously excited about our advisors that are on the team as well that come from a wide array of. One of our advisors started the World Poker Tour and the concepts on e-commerce. Most people that are watching or listening to an AMA for an NFT company would be like, how is that relevant?
Hmm.
What does the poker game have anything to do with an NFT game? And I can kind of tell you why. If we had the creator of the World Poker Tour online, he created that concept. So understanding what works for different tournaments, what works for depending on how big your community is, how to make efficient prize pools, how to orchestrate a UI online. Like these are all things that like, hey, we come from the gambling realm. We have plenty of knowledge. We come from the esports realm. These are things that's a very small portion of what we're doing. But I think it's a great example to show you guys when this thing scales, which we think it really is going to scale at the end of summer, we're going to have the ability to really start to separate ourselves, let it be from having our own tournaments on a Poker Go studio or our Aria studio in Las Vegas, hosting those tournaments on live stream, bringing
Awesome.
in the final, bringing in the final 10 contestants, streaming the event, bringing in a host, or let it be understanding tournament liquidity where you need to have tournaments for people that have $1 million and you need to have tournaments for people that have $10 in their bank account, right? And, and,
Yeah.
and, how, and how and how do you understand that and build an ecosystem that's friendly for all? So I think we're really excited about that front when it comes to building our team. And as far as the game, we're now having a very deeper look on incorporating the engage to earn features, right? Which were built from the parent company. The deeper you peel the onion, apologize, on Taunt BattleWorld, you'll see the parent company in a lot of articles out there for you guys that want to do your own research. Turnt Gaming, right? So Turnt
Hmm.
Gaming is who we are, but obviously legally, and you'll start to see the partnerships that we're putting in place. But our concept with engage to earn and knowing what the parent company came from and already building an API or engagement tool, those concepts right now are getting built on top of our overlay of our V2 product for the end of summer. And those type of engines and tools to incorporate users onto a platform and build an ecosystem for a platform are going to be the real differentiator when you look at the play to earn realm today.
That's very good. That's the man. More you talk, more you get me hype and excited, man. I'm gonna get buying more of these NFTs. So just to be clear, and before to start the question of our members, I have a lot here. Uh, so the 10th blonde NFT, the 10th Battle World NFTs that we find now to mint, that when they're gonna be revealed, there will be characters that we can use them to fight.
Absolutely. So let me take a
Perfect.
step back and kind of reframe this.
Yeah.
So right now we have 2,500 Genesis Skull Passes.
Okay.
Those 2,500 Genesis Skull Passes, if you own a Genesis Skull Pass, you'll be airdropped a fighter.
Oh.
Our fighter, and those fighters are gonna be airdropped on Polygon. The Genesis Skull Pass will forever and always live on Ethereum.
Yeah.
So we'll never get rid of the Genesis Skull Pass.
Okay.
I know a lot of people know it and understand it, but the Genesis Skull Pass will be one of the most useful things in the entire Taunt BattleWorld ecosystem. So people are going to be selling and trading fighters. People could sell Genesis Skull Passes and just keep their fighters. We can't control that. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But what
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you is our Genesis Skull Pass will have a massive advantage in the ecosystem. You have your exclusive tournaments. When we rev up our entire ecosystem, you'll be first in line for whitelists. You'll have the ability to get into Genesis Skull Pass exclusive tournaments. You'll be able to get first take into obviously our IP drops, which would be very important. Genesis Skull Pass down the line when we get past our beta will still be the first to test everything as far as in-game NFTs,
Nice.
in-game boosts, any kind of gaming feature. They'll be the first to be able to test it, and you'll always be able to guaranteed into access into our Valhalla chat, which will have all the alpha. But on top of all this, the key components that I think no one really realizes when you look at Genesis Skull Pass is you're going to get a multiplier on the engage to earn. So
Mm.
again, going back to the DeFi world, right?
Mm-hmm.
The best games, and I think in today's ecosystem, are
Mm-hmm.
incorporating the fact of using their most loyal NFTs or original NFTs and providing eco boosts, let it be in the form of mining and staking, in-game assets. We'll also be doing periodic drops of in-game assets, let it be anything. Now I'm going to say that again. Let it be anything. We'll get in-game assets will be dropped to Genesis Skull Pass holders. Now I'm not saying it's going to happen necessarily today, but I'm saying in the length of the entire ecosystem of Taunt BattleWorld, we'll continuously be rewarding our Genesis Skull Pass holders. And we're hoping that the people that hold it will hold it for not in the next month until they get their fighters of beta. We hope these guys who are original community members will be compensated throughout the next years as we build our ecosystem. So that's the Genesis Skull Pass. Forever and Obvious will be its own standalone NFT. But we'll also be dropping a Genesis Acolyte Warrior, and Acolyte Warriors will be our future drops forever and always. So we'll continue to incorporate more and more drops. You'll see another big drop or two as we approach our V2 version, right?
Okay.
You'll start to see incorporated things like our IP drops, again, as we approach our V2, and it's time to rev up the engine. Right now, anyone on our team, anyone in our ecosystem, we have a few different ideas, especially I think once we get closer to our launch pad, you'll start to see we're probably going to see thousands, potentially five-figure amount of wallet holders for our in-game currency, just based off of our actual launchpad strategy, because it's going to be so many different people that are owning the token or in-game currency. And I didn't say token, apologize. We're not allowed to say that word, but there's going to be so many of those, and things got a little bit altered because of the ecosystem. But we are worried or distraught or rush anything to do with our Genesis Skull Pass. Where we want a slow mint, we want a natural mint. We know that that people are going to come, especially as the game develops, especially as our influencers start to reach, especially as we start to build our concepts of our guild strategy, as we bring on our influencers. As soon as you see the fighters, and absolutely when you see the in-game currency go on the launch pads, the marketing will start to ramp up for itself, and that's a good place for us to be. So that's something that we're okay with. We're gonna we love the concept of a slow mint. We love the idea of people coming on board as they wish, but there will be a quick turning point. And we hope everyone that is our original supporters and our community members are able to consolidate what they can on that Genesis Skull Pass. But that's the concept right now. In the next month, again, there's gonna be a lot of things. You're gonna see our drop of our warriors. You'll see the beta version come out. You'll start to see our first rounds of tournaments. You'll start to see our launchpad strategy come to life, and a lot of other partnerships we haven't announced come to life. And you'll slowly start to see the Discord ramp up. But
Great,
yeah,
man. That's great. Very good answer. I love the way that you guys take very important to create utilities on your NFTs, because that's what's bring really the attention and attract more people, and also give him more value. Because if you create some NFT and you give them no assets, no utility on the game, it's kind of like an art stuff. So I like what you describe. I like how people can be rewarded with among the time to get some drops, and because they are showing the fidelity and the love for that battle world, right? So
absolutely.
we are almost on the top of the hour, so we're gonna start. I'm just gonna read you some question that has been posted, and then we're gonna open it for everyone if anyone has some direct question to you. So the first question for VegaRich73. So it will be benefits to have all our fighters in the same wallet, correct?
Say that one more time. You cut out a little bit, brother. I couldn't hear you
So
in the background.
asking, will there be a benefit to having all our fighters in the same wallet?
Okay, that's a very, very solid question. There's a lot of things that, again, we're very transparent here, that we're really exploring a wide variety of different tokenomics, especially not necessarily the basis token, but the gaming economy of the wearables, right? The gaming economy of the advantages of the engage to earn. What I can say is the concept down the line as you look at broad strategy of the game, and this is pretty similar to any play to earn game. You want to have different fighters because you want to have the ability to change your style in a certain tournament. Right? So I'm in NFTs. The number one thing I look at is wallet distribution. Are the founders doxed? Right? These are all basic things, right? Are the founders doxed? Wallet distribution. Um, what do they launch at an absurd ETH price? I hate when I see one ETH drops or zero point 0.5 drops or money grabs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the key thing that I'm looking at is, and what I'm trying to bring up is this concept of fair distribution, especially when you look at the amount invested into a game. We've been in development, we've been handling the legal side. We're from the US, obviously, clearly. Our entire team is docs. We're not hiding at all. But we build everything. We incorporated our partnership with Esports Technologies because they're an Irish company. It's legal to gamble there, right? We have nothing to do with the gambling on our side. So when it comes to all these different things legally, establishing a real corporate foundation is this is all where Jeff is not thinking 2 months or 3 months down the line to sell out a collection. He's thinking about building an ecosystem and an actual gaming environment that will be potentially like an EA Sports of the metaverse in 2 to 3 years, right? And and these concepts are all important with everything that we build foundationally. So when it comes to understanding what works for players, we get the fact that some players like to build and have separate wallets, and it's important. But there's a natural pride, I think, in what you'll see into wallet distribution in particular. You want to see strong stables as well, right? This idea of an armory or the stable and be able to have a centric place where you hold everything, it just makes more sense, especially as we start to leak the UI of something called a blood temple. And I've mentioned it a few times, but that'll be a destination where I could go to Taunt BattleWorld, playtaunt.io. I could connect my wallet, and as I'm looking into the different types of tournaments that are available, I'll be able to go into my blood temple, right, for DJ Sabotage's blood temple, and I'll be able to skim through my warriors. I'll be able to skim to all my inventory, right? I'll be able to kind of build together a character like a real mobile game would. Imagine like a Fortnite when you first enter a Fortnite match and you're able to pick your character, pick your skin, pick whatever you want to wear, pick your wearable, pick your shoes. All these things I think are going to be important as the game develops. So there will be an advantage naturally, and it'd be wrong for me to tell you elsewhere if you don't have your characters into one match because you want to have that flexibility, right? Especially as the game develops, and in order to kind of put that all together, I think it's important to kind of push that concept out. And you see that with most most play to earn games versus profile picture games, right? You
Yeah.
start to see like that's a very strong stable of horses, or Axie Infinity, that's a very good wallet or strong guild, right? Because you see their assets together, and it's important for them to kind of basically consolidate everything in an ecosystem where they can make quick decisions.
I love that. All right, so the next question from Arrowweed: will the wearables come with additional stats like extra HP or extra damage? I guess yes, right?
So, will the wearables be extra damage or extra HP? Is the question.
Yeah. Will they
Okay.
have any buff to our
Yeah.
character when we get them? So I guess yes.
The correct answer is absolutely yes.
Exactly. Here we
Okay.
go.
So
Perfect.
I can't give away too much, but absolutely
No,
yes.
it's okay. It's okay. Short and good answers is perfect. All right, next one. Do you have already a token burning mechanism just to make
Absolutely.
sure the token and the ecosystem of the game will stay in the long run? This is from Newbie OGC.
Absolutely. There's plenty of different types of burning mechanisms throughout the entire game. Let it be tournaments, let it be wearables. But I'll tell you one thing that we're very prideful on. profitability for the entire Taunt BattleWorld ecosystem, for every dollar in the ecosystem, it's going to be either reinvested or it's going to be burnt before it even gets distributed anywhere in the ecosystem. So what you'll start to see is an incredible amount of burning mechanisms, as well as a ramping, or better yet, a deramping of rewards. So early adopters, early people that have been doing the view to word, engage to earn, it's just like a DeFi farm, right? Compensated early initially, and it's slowly, kind of, the growth slows tremendously over time, right? As far as the distribution of the token. Whereas on the other end, as it's slowing distribution, as more and more people get in the ecosystem, there's a massive ramp of, burning mechanisms that come through the platform. So it will really create an inverse chart, and we're really passionate about it. And I think that's when you're looking at the longevity of Jeff's strategy, not worrying about the next 3 months, but worrying about the next 18, will really start to be clear.
Great. All right, so I think at this point we're gonna open it to everyone to ask questions. So just don't jump all of you at the same time. Keep it clean. All right. Who wanna try first? Who has any question, guys, and wanna come on mic? General, do we have any question on our YouTube?
Okay.
Good question.
Terrific question. So there's no characters for free to play, but this is what I can tell you, and this is something we're very passionate about here. Our engage to earn platform will now have an ability where if I didn't even have any money, but I had a wallet and a MetaMask, I could start to earn by just watching, predicting the outcome of these matches, right? Predicting the outcome of these tournaments. Is a fighter going to win this match in 1.5 rounds, over under? Is a fighter going to be able to knock a certain fighter out? Which fighter is going to get to the final four of a tournament, right? So now you have an experience for someone that has $1 million because they're able to buy the Floyd or the Cyborg or the highest ranked scale king, right? But you also have this ability to have an experience for someone that has no, right? Someone in a third world country, someone that can never and would never be able to afford a 3, a 4, a 5-figure, a 6-figure to get into the play to earn realm. But all of a sudden he's earned enough tokens for a skin or a wearable. And now this wearable can be sold on the secondary market. Or he's earned enough and he's won a predictive contest. Now he has enough for an entry-level NFT. This entry-level NFT wins a smaller tournament. All of a sudden this guy has a real fighter, might not be the best, but he has a chance, right, with this fight into that big tournament. So it provides an ecosystem for everyone, and it's a concept that we're so bullish on.
That's great, man. All right, guys. Anyone has a question? Come on, Mike.
Awesome. Thanks, Ed.
I think we're gonna create an NTM guild there. No worries.
Terrific question. And I think this is very important. And you'll really start to see the marketing of what this platform is as we approach. It's too early for us to really get it out there. But if you wanted to go ahead, and we'll start to leak some actual real life gameplay with the engage to turn vehicles. But Turn Gaming, these assets, was purchased by Jeff in the beginning of COVID, and it's already fully built API that was built for Twitch streamers. So it's already built for like a Fortnite integration. We're taking it, we're tweaking it, we're updating it, and we're putting it on our Taunt BattleWorld ecosystem. So this tech, which was invested by $5 million by VCs, from Axiomatic, which I told you guys did Pokemon Go. Do you guys remember that game? They did a Foundry Group invested into Fortnite early. So these big VCs already invested into gaming, into this engagement tool that's already built. APIs are already built, was already an active product. We're taking that and we're incorporating it on top of Taunt BattleWorld, and that's happening right now. And our devs have been already working on that incorporation. So that's already ready to go. That tech's ready to go. You'll start to see us leak some of it, but we're not going to be launching it until we have a good foundation of our actual in-game currency and our ecosystem, and our beta has made through and proved itself. Anyone that's in the gaming industry would tell you, anyone that rushes a beta or scales before going through a beta, before getting the feedback from their community, before tying in security, has no idea what they're doing about building a game on the blockchain. There's no rushing it, right? And that's why we're so delicately slow. And again, we're never promising that this is going to be a something that, hey, get into Taunt BattleWorld, you can flip it for a couple ETH in a couple months. That's not the message that we ever said. We never said we're going to be mooning this thing and it's going to rip and we're not getting influencers to pump it. What we're doing is we're building an ecosystem, and we're making sure our foundation's based as we focus on these important things in our beta, and then you'll start to see the engager and platform in the V2.
That's great, man. All right. Anyone has another question? Go ahead and come on the mic. If you have any issues to come on the mic,
Yeah, what's up, youngest? Got a question, man. Is the fights always gonna be 1v1, or is it gonna be? Are there like any 3v3 where you can do multiple characters if you hold multiple fighters and stuff like that?
Yeah, bro. So appreciate that question. It's a terrific question. I think it's pretty obvious that there's going to be a world where it's multiplayer down the line. It's in our roadmap, to be quite frank. I think our method of doing 1v1, we think, is a better strategy right now. So you see in Zed Run, 7 people race at once, 10, 12 people race at once, 14 in the gates. There's other methods to building games. We're very excited about our 1v1 approach right now, but down the line, absolutely. I mean, like, that's going to be something where you'll start to see 3-3 matches, right? 5-5 matches. You'll start to see guild wars. You'll start to see little clan wars, and all those concepts again are pretty understood by us from our backgrounds into gaming, especially Jeff's on the mobile side. Those things just take time, man. They take time to develop. It's a whole nother feature. Once you have the foundation, it's not too far off, but you might start seeing a little bit more of hints of that probably around Q3, Q4. But yeah, that's a little bit further down the line right now.
Perfect. All right. Guys, all right. Last question. Anyone wanna come ask last question? Let me
Hello?
check.
Yeah, I got one. I got one last quick question before I cut off. If you hold multiple fighters, can you be in part of multiple games at once, or is it just one fighter at a time you can be in games?
So it depends on the tournament. It's a terrific question. Generally, it's going to be one fight per wallet, right? And that's just generally going to be the loophole around it. If you have multiple fighters, you have different wallets and you can incorporate them into the game. But there'll be a lot of mechanics that you'll start to see. And again, I think this is why it's important for things like poker experience on our advisor's board. We understand that if you need to make a match scale, it's okay to have multiple platforms play the game, but by no means is that going to give you an advantage, right? Because you're still going to be paying the same entry and the same cost, and there's not going to be any way to scale it. But yeah, I mean, I think those things will start to develop, and people will have different strategies. The game, the data, and this is what's terrific about crypto, the actual data, the properties of these fighters all live on the blockchain, and it's a general idea of randomization, right? And understanding your traits and your strengths. So there's certain portions of the game, and this is what makes things so unique, that nobody knows, including our devs, right? We're all exploring this as it goes, and I think it's very unique. We're going to be able to guide things, but it's a game of discovery, right? And And that's what makes things so terrific. And there's an idea of, again, to go back to the poker analogy, and I love saying this, and I think this is when I really started to see the difference. If you had a game that was completely full of skill, right? And are starting to see a lot of these pop up in the player and NFT market, you would see the same exact players, the same exact guilds completely dominate the game, and there would be no onboarding of new users. The game dies after 6 months because they eventually exploit the game, right? If you had a StarCraft championship, League of Legends championship, it's the same guys that win every time. Why does online poker, one of the best absolute money-making, fun environments in all of gaming and gambling? It's because I could be a pro in online gaming. I could be a pro in Taunt BattleWorld, and I could get my fighter based off of its rest, based off its strength, based off of its tournament or the actual tournament entry, based off of its momentum factor, alpha. But you could enter your best fighter into this event, and you could go against someone that was, I'm just going to say it because the Axie model was so impactful to us. Someone in the Philippines that makes $100 a week, who was watching and earning on the Taunt BattleWorld, who made enough money to get an entry-level fighter, use that entry-level fighter to get a smaller tournament, now has upgraded his way into a decent mid-tier fighter. He's going against the best of the best, the pro, the number one rated fighter. But because, just like online poker, you could get pocket aces, and you could go against the donkey or someone lower tier at a 5-6 suited, and you're going to be an 80% favorite. But you run that 100 times, that 5-6 suited wins 20 out of the 100 times, right? He gets lucky, but him getting lucky brings more players involved. Him getting lucky also creates a story, and stories sell. It creates this idea of being fair, being something where I can't even control what's going on out there, right? It's a game of luck. It's a game of discovery. And that will create a fair ecosystem. When things are fair in crypto, when things are fair in NFTs, and people don't have these type of advantages, they scale incredibly fast. I think I'm losing you. Can you hear me?
Alex, you're muted.
Oh, sorry, man. Sorry, man. I was talking alone again. So I think Farley, one of our OG's member, had a question. Go ahead, man. You are the last one for today, and then we're gonna maybe talk about something.
Hey, Sabotage, thanks for coming out. Your presentation was amazing. You know, I've had your Discord in my sites for some time now, and I really didn't know who you guys were and didn't really pay much attention to it. But after hearing you speak, I came up through the gambling world myself, through poker, watching my brother play a lot of poker, and you know, getting into the pool hall business, a lot of gambling. And I know that the gambling people, because I grew up with them, are grinders. And yeah, actually, you know, knowing that somebody or a lot of you guys are from that world gives me a lot of hopes for this project. So just cheers to you guys. Congrats on everything you've done so far. And you definitely onboarded another fan.
Appreciate that.
Good, you mean?
You kind of hit something on the nail that people don't know yet. But again, I rest assured, 6 months, we really think we're going to disrupt the industry, because we're not going after just your normal profile pictures. Right now, that's probably our demographic, right? We're in Web3. Very few people have, especially right now, the knowledge of taking a risk of something like a 0.1 ETH for get it. And there's nowhere to fight it, and we want those people to be incorporated. But unique about our utility is our demographics, and I think Jeff always kind of reminds us on the back end, we're going to be beyond and above just an NFT project. You're going to start to see us be able to tap into networks that no one else can. Let it be the poker guy, the gambling guy. Let it be the esports gaming guy, right? Let it be the quant understand how they can position. Let it be the guy that's just starting because he got into the free to earn play, right? Let it be the guild that wants to establish themselves. Let it be the play to earn guy, right? Have an ecosystem, and I mean, we're totally forgetting. And I kind of just I own plenty of NFTs. Our fighters are badass, man. One of them just as a profile picture because it's great art, right? So like that's another different type of buyer, right? So we're also incorporating and have a demographic, have a customer that, again, sometimes we're a little bit more quiet, but our customer is bigger and better and more wide than pretty much I think anything else out there on anything on the Web3 right now. And I'm saying that because I know how sports books, I know how poker games, I know how mobile games scale, right? And then you corporate that all in the Web3. It's something that we have to kind of, unfortunately, well, I want to run through a wall. Our team's growing. I know what's going on behind the scenes, but like we're just not there to go and to light the fire. But as soon as the V2 version comes up, the Gager version comes up, you'll start to see the esports technology integrations. There's going to be a time where the gasoline goes on the fire, and we're going to be growing at a rate because we're able just to tap into other networks that no one else can, honestly. And that's just really because the foundation of the company and the vision that Jeff really built for 1, 2, 3, and 5 years. So I appreciate the support there, brother.
Yeah, I just want to follow up by saying that the strategy you spoke of, it just seems, it really seems stellar and unfailable in my opinion in this space. And quick question about the public minting going on right now. Is there a place that we could see the number minted so far, or is that kept private?
Oh, no, it's completely public. If you just go on OpenSea, it should tell you. I think we're around 700, 800. Um, I didn't really want to like to push it through. We are going to start to open up to like different types of marketing groups. You'll start to see us on things like NFT Evening, right? We have a few different AMAs coming up, different types of interviews. We're starting a podcast because we know gaming and all. You'll start to see marketing kind of ramp up, but we've never been worried because we don't need the money, right? As you guys know, we've been in production, we've been in development. Generally, people need to sell out because they need a fundraise and then use the money for development. And it puts us in a very unique position because we don't necessarily need the money at all. What we need is the right customer that sees the vision. It's hard because not everyone gets it in today's ecosystem. But if you actually understand what we're doing, it's a huge strength for us compared to other projects. Other projects can't even start development until they sell out, and then they have to go higher. We're very okay with this slow mint strategy because I believe that as people are minting and hopping on board, they become more and more familiar, more and more understanding of the roadmap, and they become more and more bullish. So what we're starting to see is our top guilds, our top influencers. We have guys that are Z run stables who can't even get in touch with necessarily the who are now reaching out to build and incorporate really a content strategy, right? And when you start to making content for you, who are going to be your biggest winners, when you have your guilds doing marketing for you because they're going to be the biggest winners, everyone's winning, and that's how you scale an ecosystem. But in addition to all that, I mean, we keep kind of pushing the can down the road. We're about a month away from being on the 4 to 6 of the biggest launch in the world, and that's pretty much all the marketing for the beta at 2,500 people. So I think when it starts to sell and the stories to get out, it'll sell out and there'll be a spike in demand when people realize there's a high school out there just for the beta. But yeah, we're very we understand what works and what doesn't work, and I think we're in a unique position because the show's going on right now, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes. And I think in the next week, when people start to see the gameplay, the development, when they start to see the characters and the high amount of work it just takes to get 50 different base characters rendered for the universe, right? To get 50 different 3D characters is just by itself is something that you don't even see some of the blue chips do right now in today's ecosystem.
And just one last question. I don't know if there was I missed it or not. Was there clarity put on what type of currency, or as it has been decided on the prize pool, the $100,000 prize pool? Is that 100,000 US dollars?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a mix, and there'll be a lot more clarity as we approach the beta, and you'll see it in the white paper. There will be more incentives for things like our in-game currency and our beta, right? But going forward into like the V2 version of the game, our in-game currency is going to have a tremendous amount of utility. I apologize, and that's something that you'll start to see things like secondary NFTs, things like potentially down the road a governance token, things like burning mechanisms, things like wearables, things like NFT rewards. I gotta stop talking, but um, I'll say that the tokenomics is something that we're very passionate about coming where we're at. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm very excited about some of the things that we're doing, and a lot of our passion comes from, hey, we've been in the DeFi space for a while. We've been in the NFT gaming space. I'm not sure if any of you guys out there are familiar with Treasure DAO, Magic. Um, Anyone out there at all? But we think those guys out there are putting on an absolute showcase when it comes to tokenomics, and something we're excited about.
All right, that was great, guys. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. So, Saba, do you have any surprise for our members?
Yeah, well, let's take a little screenshot here if you don't mind.
I am on it.
I'll take a little screenshot here too, and then we'll reach out here. I'll do a little randomization right now, and we'll pick someone for a little gift. We'll be in their DMs. I'll let you respond out to the person right now, but I'll do a little randomization, and we'll reach out to them via DM.
Yeah, wait. Discord sometimes is weird. I got disconnected, so I have to take screenshots again. Give me a sec.
It's okay. You just wanted to disconnect so you wouldn't be in the screenshot. You wanted to give everybody else more of a chance.
All right.
Cool.
I think we have them all. I
Great.
want to thank you a lot, Saba, and all the team from Thought for joining us today. That was really great, really good information. I think all our guild are excited, and we cannot wait to start playing.
Awesome, man.
Any last word, Mr. Saba, or DJ
No,
Saba?
I think we're excited. I think we really appreciate everyone's support. Um, we love to collaborate. We love to make sure that we're putting our let it be our guilds, our influencers, our original ambassadors, our Genesis Skull Pass holders in a position to win. And at the end of the day, we want to do this all together. So if there's any way we could support in helping out in an AMA, helping out with content, anything like that, please feel free to reach out to myself, Joey as well on our team is in the audience, and we'd love to kind of build relationships and start to support our community any which way we can.
Oh yeah, we're gonna definitely stay in touch, guys. Get our guild ready for the game. Get some skulls because I think is the must to have. And thank you very much, Joey. Thank you for joining us on the end of the EMA. Do you wanna close it? Go for it.
Listen, guys, yeah, I think Saba did a great job. I caught the first half of it, and then we had our team meeting that Saba
good.
was on the call for that. But it sounded like he was dropping some heat, dropping some knowledge, explaining things really well. But yeah, I think we're just really excited this week coming up. This next week, we got more of the fighter reveal. We got a potential white paper coming out. We got the airdrop from the actual fighter from the Skull Pass, and then we get into that beta. And I'm just excited to kind of see what the gameplay looks like. And yeah, thanks for setting this up, and it's been great meeting you guys and kind of learn more about what your project's going on. And like Saba said, if you guys have any questions about anything for now or in the future as well, hit up myself or hit up Saba, and we're more than happy to help you guys out, get more familiar, And new questions will arise as new information comes out too. So feel free to utilize the resources that are there for you guys. If you guys want to learn more, have any questions from people who are working with the project.
I love that, man. And thank you guys for joining us today. And we're gonna stay in touch. We're gonna create a bigger relation between Taunt BattleWorld and NTM, and we're gonna make it rock.
Let's do it.
Again,
Yeah,
guys,
I'm excited.
everyone, members, thank you for joining us. Love for Taunt BattleWorld, love for NTM. See you next time.
See you
Bye,
guys, everybody.
everyone.
Thanks
Bye,
for
guys.
coming out here, everybody.